Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. Before we go any further, please give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. If you want to stay up to date with all that's happening in Tan and J-Man Show Nation, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, so stay tuned.
It is episode 199 of the Tan and J-Man Show. Happy Labor Day to everybody out there. Hope you've been enjoying a nice day off today. Maybe grilling some meats, barbecuing some meats.
Drinking some brewskis.
Spending quality time with family and friends at a safe distance. Or maybe even wearing masks. Whatever you got to do. What's up, J-Man?
Nothing much.
Nothing much?
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, I played some golf. Spent some time with family, so yeah.
Cool. Wish I could say I played some golf.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
We need to get you some clubs.
We do.
Lefty clubs.
Go out there, hit the range.
Yep. I better get our read ready, shouldn't I? And the Tan and J-Man Show, like it is every week, is sponsored by The Damn Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-bread, tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, The Damn Landing is the place to be. The Damn Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou that focuses on freshness and quality. And, of course, the damn smoke, like I was saying, grilling meats, smoking meats, barbecuing meats. Well, the Dam's got it all. They got ribs, they got steaks, they got barbecue, and much more. And you can wash it all down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews and domestic flavors. Or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Taking the fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area today, whether it be by boat or by wheels, the Damn Landing is the place to be. Located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester.
Are you ready to hear a trivia question that I have procured?
I was born ready.
Mike Trout hit his 300th career home run. This isn't part of the trivia question. Real quick, who did he pass on?
Willie Mays.
That wasn't the trivia. I mean, that was the trivia answer, but this is the... You know what? Who was? You just screwed this. Tim Salmon. I'm going to
I saw that exact
Go get a different
tweet
one.
on my Twitter the other night. So
with a win tonight, LeBron James...
So I get a birdie already.
No.
Oh, come
this is a different
on.
one. With a win last night, LeBron James tied who for the most wins by a player in NBA postseason history?
That's a good one.
This is a lot harder.
Yes, it is. I'm going to have to think about that one.
Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC. Fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. I know they were at the Kosciuszko County's Farmers Market on Saturday. They had a whole litter of veggies there. I saw some tomatoes. You know, I'm a big fan of the tomatoes.
You eat them like apples?
I do eat them like apples. Put a little bit of salt on them. Add some bacon, lettuce.
So, pretty much
bread.
BLT. That's what I'm hearing.
Mayonnaise. Like it. But that's who sponsors the Birdie Bogey segment. So, get your veggies.
Well, you ready to hear about some sport events that have happened on September 7th throughout the history of time ever?
I'm a big fan of learning.
Well, I haven't even looked at these, so I'm going through them right now.
Nice.
A lot of tennis.
I'm a big fan of tennis. Did you see what happened to Novak Djokovic?
I did.
Yes, that...
He out.
Yeah, that's a bad deal. He obviously didn't do it on purpose.
No.
He needs to control his anger, though, and that's the unintended consequences of showing anger like that.
He was getting close to being probably known as maybe the greatest ever. And
yes.
This is going to tarnish that a little bit, I'm afraid.
You think it'll tarnish it? It was just a
little bit.
One.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that he doesn't have a chance to win another major title right now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And he obviously didn't mean to hit the person. I think he hit her in the throat.
Right in the throat and dropped her down.
That hurt.
Yeah, he hit it decently hard.
Yeah, so. He shouldn't be doing that. But it's one of those things. He just kind of lost his head for a second. But that's the consequence of doing that.
On this day, 1953. Mm-hmm. You said what?
I said, mm-hmm.
Oh. Roy Campanella set a catchered record of 125 en route to 142 RBIs.
He was a good little catcher there for the, I think, Brooklyn Dodgers.
I think you're right. On this day, 1955, Whitey Ford became the fifth pitcher to hurl consecutive one-hitters.
He was pretty good as well.
Yes, he was. Oh, jeez, a lot of tennis. I'm not going to make you guess any of that.
Andre Agassi.
On this day, 1970, the Chicago White Sox used a record 41 players in a doubleheader and lost both games.
Sounds like the Cubs on Saturday. They didn't use that many players, but they lost both of them. That's the only thing they have in common with the White Sox there.
On this day, 1980, the Oakland Athletics pitched a record 78th complete game of the season. That doesn't make any sense.
I bet it does. What year? 1980?
Yeah.
I bet they threw
pitched record 78th complete game.
I bet they threw
season.
78 complete games. Their
okay.
pitchers. I'm gonna go look it up real quick.
On this day, 1979, I skipped over this one. The Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, ESPN, made its debut.
Have you read Those Guys Have All the Fun?
Have not.
Fantastic book about how ESPN started. It's mainly just all interviews. Like you'll have quotes from. It's just a great book. I could give it to you. I have it somewhere.
I wouldn't mind reading it.
Can you read? No, you're reading right now.
Jerk. On this day, 1981, the Cleveland Browns quarterback Brian Sipe set a club record with 57 pass attempts.
Wow.
I don't know if that's still a record or not. I'm guessing it probably is. Not sure.
In the NFL?
No, for the Browns.
Oh, just for the Browns?
Yeah.
Going back to the Oakland A's, they threw 16 more complete games that year. They finished with 94 complete games. Their pitchers.
That's
incredible. Amazing. Rick Langford had 28 himself.
On this day in 1986, the Cleveland Browns became the first team in NFL history to have a play reviewed by instant replay in a 41-31 loss to the Chicago Bears.
What year was that?
1986.
I didn't know they were doing that back then.
That's what it says here.
Interesting.
Also on this day in 1986, Dan Marino threw his 100th career touchdown pass, becoming the fastest QB in NFL history to do so.
Yep, he set all the records.
Now they're all getting broken.
Because it's much easier to pass in today's game.
It's a passing league now.
It sure is.
Let's see, what else do we got? Oh, here's going. On this day in 1991, Brigham Young University quarterback Ty Detmer passed NCAA record 11,606 yards.
Yeah, old Ty was pretty good. They play tonight, Brigham Young.
Yep.
Against Navy.
Yep, that is the primetime game
on
of
Espen. You're in about an hour.
Week 1 of college football.
Hour 22.
Yep.
Did you watch any college football over the weekend?
Just a little bit of the Marshall game.
I watched a smattering of the Marshall game as well, which they won 59-0.
Yeah, that's the problem. A lot of the games weren't competitive at all. But
SMU, I did watch the end of SMU Texas State. That was a pretty good one.
On this day, 1992, former owner and team president of the Milwaukee Brewers, Bud Selig, is appointed interim commissioner of Major League Baseball, and he held office until becoming the official commissioner in 1998.
I hated that guy, but I'm like him a lot more than the current guy.
So always be careful what you wish for. Grass isn't always greener on the other side.
He was like 97 years old when he stopped, though. So,
on this day in 2003, who won the men's U.S. Open tennis tournament?
2003?
Yep.
I'm going to go with David Duval.
U.S. Open men's tennis.
Oh, tennis.
Tennis, not golf. Tennis.
Pete Sampras.
No, good guess. Andy Roddick. His only career Grand Slam title.
I heard U.S. Open and it flustered me.
Yeah, that's why I said tennis. That's all I got for today's On This Day.
That was not a great one.
It was not, and I got to get the pro forma read up. I should have it memorized by now.
This is embarrassing.
But I don't. And the On This Day segment is brought to you by Proforma Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print House has over 50 years combined experience on promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company. Give them a call today at 574-210-3815. You can get yourself a nice water bottle with your company or organization's logo on it. You can get all kinds of things. Banners, water bottles, like I said, wine tumblers, pens, pads of paper.
It's a nice looking water bottle.
Oh, it's fantastic. It literally, it's kind of like it's pretty much like a Yeti. I mean, it keeps things
stuff cold
and hot for a long duration of time. So very good quality products. Give them a call today, 574-210-3815, if you're looking for anything like that.
Do you drink any hot beverages?
Hot chocolate.
Me too. Yeah. That's it. We are children.
Yes.
The NFL season starts in a few days, 3 days.
Yeah, you know, summer's pretty much winding down. I think fall actually starts here. Is it this week or next week?
It's like the 20th.
Or a couple weeks. Well,
Next
summer.
week.
Okay. Summer's winding down. You know, it feels like fall out. The temperature's starting to get those brisk temperatures in the mornings. Still really sad there was no Big Ten football to watch this past weekend.
It was a real weird Labor Day weekend. Just didn't feel it felt like the middle of June or something because we had no real any football I cared about on.
It's really going to be a kick to the sternum for me this next weekend when Notre Dame plays.
Who do they got?
Duke.
They have Dukies.
I mean, that's gonna be frustrating.
But you'll get that fire and want them to lose.
Oh, absolutely, worse than ever.
Yeah. So at least you have that to look forward to.
Yep. But the other big three conferences, the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC, they'll start playing here in the next few weeks, and the Big 10 and Pac-12 are sitting at home.
When does the SEC start?
The last week of September.
Because both the Big 12 and ACC start this weekend.
Yeah, they still got a little.
My Miami Hurricanes play UAB on Thursday night.
Yep.
I'm excited to tune into that one.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. But like you said, the NFL is here. We love the NFL. This is our fourth.
Everybody loves the NFL.
This is our fourth annual. Well, if not, something's wrong with you. But this is our fourth annual NFL preview show. It's usually one of our more fun shows that we do every year, so we really look forward to it. Glad we can bring it to you this year because we didn't get to do our college football preview, which normally we just focus on the Big Ten and Notre Dame, so it's like Big Ten +1. But we do get to bring you the NFL preview show. It's going to be unlike any NFL season we've ever seen before.
I think we'll get used to it.
Yep.
Kind of like with the NBA bubble, I got used to it. And with Major League Baseball, it's a lot different, but I've gotten used to no fans being there.
Sure.
And all that. So I think we'll just get used to it over time, and it's just nice to have something to look forward to on Sunday afternoons.
Absolutely. I mean, it starts this Thursday night. The Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Houston Texans. Chiefs are going to have about 16,000 or so in-house.
Okay.
A lot of teams are starting to rule out some numbers of what they're going to have or not have. Like, for instance, the Broncos aren't having any next Monday against the Titans, but they already got them approved to have some week 3 when they host the Buccaneers.
Interesting.
So some teams are starting small, and hopefully they're hoping to add more as the season goes on, as long as everything in their area stays kind of constant or low.
I think by the end of the year, we'll see fans at every single NFL
You think
game.
so?
I think so. Hopefully we'll have a vaccine by then, and we can start getting back to normal. You just want to go division by division? Because every year we go on this playoffpredictors.com and pick every single NFL game week by week, and then afterwards it shows what their record will be. So if we have some pretty crazy records for some of these teams, that's not our fault.
And I'm glad you brought that up because there is a team I think that's going to be the worst in the league, and I'll explain to that when we get to it. But I don't have them as the worst record. It just because I'm so focused on just game-to-game results, I don't even try to look at the sides that are updating as I pick games, and then I'm really shocked when it comes. Here's your playoffs, which the playoffs expanded this year
to 7 teams.
7 teams in the AFC, 7 teams in the NFC instead of the previous 6 teams.
Big fan of that, and I think it helps both of our teams out. Obviously, because I don't think either team will win the division this year.
No. I think your team has a better shot to win their division than mine.
They're in a much weaker division.
Yes.
And they don't have to contend with the, I would say, likely best team in football.
Yes.
In the Kansas City Chiefs. Want to start with the NFC North?
NFC North, yes.
AFC North, sorry.
AFC North, yeah. Yeah, I got that up here.
Who you got winning that division?
Got the Baltimore Ravens.
Record?
14-2.
I too have the Baltimore Ravens. I have them at 13-3.
So pretty. I have 5-1 in the division.
Mm-hmm.
I just think
4-2.
You got Lamar Jackson coming off an MVP season. I think he's got to be solid again. I think Hollywood Brown's going to have a solid season. I'm interested to see what J.K. Dobbins can do in the Ravens offense.
That's a good running back trio, really. They have there Mark Ingram, and they have what's his name from Gus Edwards. I think he's still there unless they cut him. They might have cut him. I haven't been up to date with all the cuts.
There's so many. I'm still trying to get used to the Ravens having a functional, decently high-scoring offense.
Yeah.
to go with a pretty good defense. I don't think it's a top 5 defense, but it's a good defense.
It's a solid, a good enough defense to win you a Super Bowl with the kind of offense they have. Do you think Lamar Jackson can replicate his MVP year?
I think he'll have a good year, but not statistically as good as last year. Which you're going to praise him this year. Last year, and I got it. I got proof. You said he'd throw about 16 touchdowns.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be very good.
But nobody saw.
I don't think anyone saw that coming because he was not good at the end of his rookie year into the playoffs. But he obviously got a lot better, and he showed it in Week 1, throwing about 12 touchdown passes down there in Miami.
Now he's a promotional figure. He's on the Madden cover. He's all over the place. So
people know who he is, and they'll be gunning for him this year.
A lot more tape on him now. So.
Who you have finishing second?
Got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I too have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
9-7.
I too have them 9-7.
4-2 in the division.
I too have them 4-2 in the division.
The big question mark: Pittsburgh, can 38-year-old Ben Roethlisberger stay healthy?
Yes,
for a whole season.
He had an arm injury last year,
almost in his career.
He's been talking about retirement for the past few years, and he hasn't been able to do it yet. I think last year would have been his last year had he not gotten hurt. And he's coming back this year. This could potentially be their last go-around. Their defense is really good, led by T.J. Watt. Minkah Fitzpatrick as well had a great year. They'll prevent teams from scoring, and with their quarterback back, it'll be interesting because he's old. His arm, as I said, had the arm injury. To see what kind of year he can put together after missing last year. They have a pretty good running game with James Conner there, so they're an intriguing team, and not many people expect much out of them, but I think they're very capable of making that last playoff spot.
I agree. Who you got number 3 in the division?
The Cleveland Browns.
I do as well.
7-9.
6-10.
I think the Browns are very capable of finishing second and even winning 11-plus games.
They got talent, but...
Yes. This is kind of the team I think will outperform what we have them as.
Well, last year, everybody, or most people, were having them in the playoffs last year, and everybody bought into the hype, and then they did what the Browns do and didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
So now they're back into, the expectations for the Browns.
Mm-hmm. And I think that helps them out immensely.
Yeah. This is make it or break it for Baker Mayfield already.
I would say
3.
Year 3. The Browns give up on people so quick, whether it be coaches, quarterbacks. They still have a really good receiving duo in OBJ, who causes, I think he's a cancer to the locker room. That could be unfounded.
Will he return to OBJ fashion this year?
I think so.
Yeah.
They have Juice Landry as well as best buddy. And they also have they traded for Austin. Did they trade for Austin Hooper?
They got him. I don't know
they
if they
signed him.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But they should score some points. Myles Garrett, was he suspended the whole season after he
that was late in the season, wasn't it, when he did that?
Yeah, I don't think he
missed
played
the last 4
a game
games or something
like that. But he'll be back, ready to come out with a vengeance. Hopefully not too much of a vengeance, or he'll kill someone out there.
Literally.
But I think they're very capable of making the playoffs as well.
I do too.
We both have the Cincinnati Bengals. Finishing 4th in that division.
We got them 4-12.
Man, we are so dang close today.
What, you got them 3-13 or
4-12?
1-5 in the division.
2-4 in the division.
I will go on record. This will be the last year that the Bengals are under 500 for quite some time.
I think they're building something pretty good there. I am a big fan of Joe Burrow. You are enough of a fan of Joe Burrow. He's your starting quarterback, I assume, in fantasy.
Might be my starter. So
good
we'll
Lord.
See. I got him on both. I got the same 2 quarterbacks in both my leagues. I kind of did that on purpose, so I don't have to keep up with too many guys. But I think Joe Burrow will be good. He's got A.J. Green to throw to.
Yep, he's back.
Very young team, young coach.
Good running back, Joe Mixon.
Yeah,
as well.
Got paid.
He just got paid. Pretty good defense, I would say, but not up to playoff standards.
Yep.
But I agree with you. I think this will be the last year they finish in that cellar.
Yep. I think they get. I'm not saying they're going to come out in 2021 and be 12-4. I'm seeing 8-8, maybe 9-7 the next year, and then they build on that because the Steelers, so Big Ben, they're getting older. They got younger in some positions, but the Ravens look like they're going to be pretty good for a while. And the Browns, who knows? Question mark.
They're a coin flip. They're always one of those teams everyone talks about, and then one time they look like they're going to be good. I don't even remember the record last year, but they were garbage.
Yeah, they're the longest streak in the NFL to not make the playoffs. I think it goes back to 2002.
They made it in 2002?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lost to the Bears.
You want to go NFC North or AFC South?
Let's go NFC North.
Switch divisions here. Who you got winning it?
I think this is a great division, top to bottom. By that, I mean it's a division made up of a lot of good teams, nobody that's great,
Sure.
Nobody that's really bad, except one of my team's records is going to show that I think they're really bad, but I really don't. It's one of those outliers every year that really got screwed up. But I got the Green Bay Packers winning the division at 10-6.
I have the Minnesota Vikings winning the division at 10-6. Don't trust Kirk Cousins as far as I can throw him. Still think their defense is solid, and they trade for Yannick Ngakoue as well to pair with their other stud over on the other side, Danielle Hunter. They'll be able to get after the quarterback. They have good linebackers, good secondary, good running back as well. Who is a guy? Dalvin Cook.
Yes.
I was just about to say I'm forgetting his
They
name.
did lose Stephon Diggs.
Traded Stephon Diggs to the Buffalo Bills, but they need a guy like Laquan Treadwell to step up if he's still even there. Haven't heard his name really since he was drafted. They also drafted Justin Jefferson in the first round to pair with Adam Thielen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're a solid 10-6 type of team. We'll see.
I also got the Vikings at 10-6, 4-2 in the division, but that's why I had the Packers. I had the Packers getting the tiebreaker over them. As long as they have Aaron Rodgers, they're always going to be.
They're going to be
mix.
dangerous. I have them finishing second at 9-7. It will be interesting. Rodgers, I have never really seen Aaron Rodgers struggle at all. But if there's one inkling he's struggling, that talk will start.
If they happen to go 6-10, flip my record, it might be the Jordan Love era up in Green Bay pretty soon.
It might be 100%.
I mean, you take a first rounder. Well, I say that, and then this is the team that set Aaron Rodgers for 4 years, but that was behind Brett Favre. So
and you don't do that in today's NFL.
I was going to say very rarely, but if there's any team to do it, it would be Green Bay.
They have a good running game as well. Drafted A.J. Dillon in the second round to pair with Aaron Jones.
It's just I don't know, besides Devontae Adams, who's going to catch the ball.
That's been a question mark for years.
That's why I think they're already in the market to draft wide receiver in next year's draft.
And that's why a lot of Packer fans were real upset they took a Jordan Love and not a wide receiver who was on the board at that time.
Yep.
Who you have finishing third?
The Chicago Bears.
Record
7-9.
I have the Detroit Lions finishing third at 6-10. Bears fans are going to hate me.
Well, I think the Bears got good defense. Problem is they got, I would say, one average quarterback, one below average quarterback.
I'm very shocked Nick Foles is not their starting quarterback.
Well, Nagy said he made it tough on him. He played well enough to make it a tough decision, but I think the Bears kind of feel like they have to give Mitch one more chance.
And that's what I was kind of hinting at is took him second overall. Was he second?
Yeah, second. I mean, he could have Sean Watson, could have Patrick Mahomes. And you traded up for him from 3 to 2.
That, I think, is the only reason he won the spot over him because there is no way Nick Foles is the worst quarterback.
How many weeks will Trubisky get before they switch?
4 most.
4?
I think the team's good enough with a guy like Nick Foles to compete for a playoff spot. I just don't think it's possible with Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, talk about franchise that just hasn't found a steady quarterback.
Yep.
Just can't do it.
So you have the Lions finishing fourth.
I got them 1-15, and I don't believe that at all. I think they're more 6-10. I went week by week.
Yes.
I don't have a winning game in the conference.
I like Matt Stafford.
Or division, I should say.
I think they have an okay
defense.
Now, if
Stafford goes down, they could go 1-15.
Yeah, they could, absolutely. And he's been off injured here the past few years. They signed the corpse of Adrian Peterson over the weekend, a 1-year deal to pair with Kerryon Johnson.
Over $1 million deal
Swift.
for a year.
$1 million.
Yeah.
With incentives after that.
Yeah.
So it could be over $1 million.
Maybe they'll actually have a decent run game for once.
Kenny Galladay's a great receiver. I think T.J. Hawkinson's a solid tight end as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they're a lot better than 1-15. I have the Bears, by the way, going 4-12.
But I think I think the Lions have to make the playoffs or Patricia's gone.
Yeah, and it might not be the worst thing in the world.
And I don't think his defense. I don't think their defense is going to be that good.
Nah.
They did get Jamie Collins from New England. That was kind of the big off-season acquisition on defense.
They've struggled with giving up points here the past.
When you look at the Bears and the Lions, two historic kind of traditional franchises, one Super Bowl between the two. champion.
Yep.
And that was the Bears in 85. They've only made 2 Super Bowls. Lions haven't even made a Super Bowl.
The reason why they're so storied
they're
is
old.
because they've been around longer than
Black
anyone.
and blue division.
Yeah.
But I think this division could beat up on each other like it does kind of every year. And I don't think there's any great team in it, but I don't think there's any awful team like my record actually shows. So.
Sure.
But you better believe it if the Lions do go 1-15. I'm going to be like,
See,
I knew what I was talking about.
Told you so.
AFC South.
Houston Texans winning that division at 11-5.
I have them winning that at 13-3, and I don't like that.
Pretty good,
I think that's a little better. I like your 11-5 pick better, to be honest. I think that they lost too much to win 13 games.
Traded DeAndre Hopkins, so they did get David Johnson back, and we've seen if he can stay healthy,
Knees are made of glass.
Explosive. But
problem.
He hasn't proven he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Will Fuller's still there. Kenny Stills. They also signed Brandon Cooks.
Well, they got a lot of speed.
I'm
not down that.
It's always a question mark. Their line, always a question mark. Deshaun Watson has gotten hit more than any quarterback in the NFL.
Gave him a 4-year, $160 million extension this week.
Play quarterback, kids.
Yeah.
It pays.
Yeah. So, he's a very good one.
Need J.J. Watt to stay healthy as well. Hasn't done it.
Yeah,
for
another
a few
guy
years.
that's kind of starting to be made of glass.
And their defense really struggled last year, I thought, at times.
Yep.
Who you have finishing second?
We got the Tennessee Titans.
I have the Indianapolis Colts finishing 10-6.
Got the Titans at 11-5, and I actually have them with the best record in that division at 5-1 with 5-1.
I have both or all three: Texans, Colts, Titans at 4-2 in the division. I think Colts signing Phillip Rivers will just give them that veteran presence. I don't know if he's that much of an upgrade over a guy like Jacoby Brissett, but as I said, the experience factor. Like their running game with Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, and Naheem Hines. They also drafted the Michael Pittman out of USC. They still have T.Y. Hilton as well.
Paris Campbell
as well.
Should be their number 2 probably.
Yes. So I think they're a solid team. Their line might be the best in football.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, you got Kelly up there. You got Quentin Nelson.
And I think
right there.
I think they have a much improved defense as well.
Yeah.
So they are very capable of making some noise.
Yeah. Titans, they signed Ryan Tannehill to a huge deal in the offseason. This was the AFC runner-up last year.
That's crazy.
Can Derrick Henry replicate what he did last year? I think so. I mean, he was pretty darn good last year, and this offense is built around Derrick Henry, and that's why Tannehill fits it perfectly. Teams need to make Ryan Tannehill beat them because they still don't have the greatest options throwing the ball.
A.J. Brown had a really good rookie year last year, over 1,000 yards receiving. I even like their tight end, Jonnu Smith, as well, but not great options. No. Defensively, I think they're real solid. They did lose. Didn't they lose the guy who went to Denver? What's his name? Jarrell Casey.
Yes, they traded him for 7th round pick.
So maybe maybe he didn't play that much last year. I know he'd have.
His last 2 years haven't been that great, but he is a multi-time Pro Bowler. So
they did just sign Jadeveon Clowney.
Yep. Will he be ready week 1? I don't know.
Who the heck knows?
$15 million 1-year deal.
Incredibly smart to sign after training camp.
He's never had double-digit sacks in a season.
He's I wouldn't
3
call
sacks
him
last year.
I wouldn't call him a
tackles.
bust, but he hasn't been nearly as good as that number 1 overall pick selection. I have the Titans finishing 3rd at 9-7, which I think they'll be solid as well.
Well, now I'm on the Colts fans' crap list here because I got them at 6-10.
6-10, huh? You think they're worse than last year?
I just think if a key guy or two goes down on that offense, that they're in trouble. Say Rivers. Even though they got Brissett, he's still their backup, right?
I believe so.
And Jacob Eason, I know they drafted him, but say a T.Y. goes down or a couple wide receivers, because we're going to see tons of injuries. This is going to be a year I think we see more injuries early than we ever have.
Yes, I agree with you on that. Just with no preseason games, they haven't really been doing any live tackling.
Not a lot of contact.
Have the Colts said anything about potential fans?
They're week 1, they're having 2,500.
2,500.
Yeah, it's like a Rochester Zebra high school game there.
No, Rochester Zebras don't get that many.
When they went down there back in the day, they probably got.
Oh, down there, yeah.
When they took that many down to Lucas Oils.
2,500. Well, Colts have been known to pump in crowd noise, so
everybody gets a pump in crowd noise this year.
Yeah, but Colts have been known to crank it up a little bit.
That was back in the Dome, maybe not so much Lucas Oil.
An RCA Dome, man. Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is who I think is going to be the worst team in the NFL, but I actually have them at 4-12, but not winning the game in the division.
I have them 1-15. I think they're all in on drafting Trevor Lawrence.
Well, all you got to do is follow Twitter, see Twitter, and these guys who are getting traded or released and signing other teams, and they're thankful to be on another team. One guy, one of their defenders, signed with the Browns and said, "I'm thankful to be with a team that has one goal." So it's pretty.
As I said, traded Yannick Ngakoue as well to the Minnesota
he was
Vikings.
kind of a cancer.
He's a really good player, though.
And
we'll see.
I disagree.
He could have just been a cancer because he was sick of losing in Jacksonville.
Yeah, the Cons definitely want Trevor Lawrence.
100%. I don't blame him. He's a really good.
Nope.
Moving on to the NFC South. Who you got winning it?
A really good football division, like it is every year.
Division.
But you had Tom Brady, Leonard Fournette to that Tampa Bay team.
Rob Gronkowski as well.
Gronkowski. And I like that Tampa Bay team to go 13-3 and win the division.
I have the New Orleans Saints winning the division at 12-4. I have all 4 teams going 3-3 in the division.
I have 5-1, 3-3, 4-2, and 0-6.
Every single one's going to go 3-3. You can take that to the bank.
I think I had that last year. I had all 4 of them with winning records or something last year. But I think the Buccaneers are really good. I think they're coached well. I think their defense is good. Of course, Tom, and they just have tons of weapons. Mike Evans. Who's their other wide receiver?
Chris Godwin.
Godwin, thank you. I think maybe Jameis, of course, had the better arm strength than Tom now in his old age, but Tom's been through the ringers, has the experience.
If Jameis cut his interceptions down from 30 to 15, they would have been in the postseason last year.
He'd probably still be their quarterback.
He probably still would be.
But he's on the New Orleans Saints now as a backup.
Yes. Who I have 12-4. I have Tampa Bay 12-4 as well. Don't know what the tiebreaker was that gave the Saints the division crown because I have, as I said, everyone going 3-3 in the division. But you've hit the nail on the head. They'll be better, obviously, Tampa Bay.
Should be.
And I think this is New Orleans' last go-around. Could be Drew Brees' last year.
I think it will be his last year.
I agree.
And it is too bad for guys who want to retire after this year because this year just not going to be a normal year for them. But I do think it's the Saints' last go-around. They just have faltered the last couple of years with some bad luck and everything in the playoffs.
Have you ever seen a team in any sport have the kind of playoff luck?
No. If I was a Saints fan, I would just hate watching them in the playoffs. But I have the Saints going 10-6 and finishing second in the division. I think unfortunately we'll see Drew continue to digress a little bit with his old age, but he's got Kamara around him, got Michael Thomas, who's the best wide receiver in football in my opinion. Bunch of weapons, pretty good defense, but no fans, at least week 1 in New Orleans.
And that
could kill
place
them.
Gets loud.
That could really affect a team like that.
We're really, I've said this for so many times over the past few weeks, we're just going to see the better team win.
Yeah, definitely the first few weeks when it's going to be sloppy without preseason football.
Yes.
One thing I do like, and this is getting a little off topic, in Denver's favor is the altitude.
Yes.
That's one thing they kind of got.
And same thing, I think we've talked about this too. I said I think the Dolphins and Denver have the biggest home field because you have the altitude in Denver and the humidity in Miami.
Absolutely.
Which just, I mean, you've seen teams go into Miami, and I remember a few years ago, a Bears offensive lineman lost 25 pounds in that game.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacksonville's got humidity too in Tampa.
Yeah.
But Jacksonville's going to be so bad that...
Yes, not South Florida humidity.
No, but Florida is unlike any state when it comes to humidity. Who you got number 3 in that division?
I have the Atlanta Falcons.
I do as well.
At 8-8.
I have 9-7. I think that might have been one of the toughest teams to predict going into this year because they could be really good or they could be pretty bad.
This has to be Dan Quinn's last shot.
Absolutely. Can't believe he's back.
They haven't been the same, obviously, since blowing
Is it Matt Ryan's last shot?
I would say they need to start thinking about drafting an heir apparent. Julio Jones is still there.
I think you were going to see him regress this year.
I could see that. He's been oft injured here the past few years. But, I mean, he still throws the ball to him more than any wide receiver. I mean, he gets the most targets out of any wide receiver I've ever seen. They traded for Hayden Hurst to be their tight end, who I was a big fan of out of South Carolina. He was with the Baltimore Ravens. Defensively, I don't think they'll be good enough to make a
the Falcons always have defenders who you can't name too many of their defenders unless you're a Falcon fan. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But
and we both had the Carolina Panthers finishing dead last. What do you have their record?
3-13.
Think they're going to be real bad?
I do. I don't. I think they got the best non-quarterback in football, Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
But Matt Rule, not sold on him to be a head NFL coach. I'm not sold on Teddy Bridgewater being a every week starter. $66 million contract. We'll see. But Greg Olson's still a good tight end, even though he's like 112. But Yeah, I just don't think their defense is that great. And, yeah, I just don't see them being very good.
Is Greg Olson even still playing?
Yes.
He is? Mm-hmm. I have them at 7-9. I don't think they'll be as bad as you think they're going to be. I'm not a Teddy Bridgewater guy, though. He was serviceable for the Saints a few years ago. Or was that last year when Brews was hurt? I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
I think it was last year.
Was it? I don't know. Yeah, last year.
Greg Olson plays for the Seattle Seahawks.
That's right.
I did not know that.
He was a Panther.
I'm glad I looked that up now.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, he was with the Panthers.
He's still a good tight end, even though he's 112 years old.
I think that'll do it for the NFC South.
Yep.
I'm kind of bored talking about him, to be honest. Let's move on to the AFC East.
Yes.
My division.
Yes.
It's
going to be a competitive division.
I think it's going to be a competitive division.
First time since in a long time.
Yeah. No Tom Brady there this year.
So they did get two teams in the playoffs last year.
They did. The
Patriots and
Bills have been to the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years.
Bills lost that tough one in Houston last year and the tough one in Jacksonville the year before.
Yeah. Peter King picked the Dolphins to win the division this year.
Always hated that guy.
No. I did he pick him to win the division? I thought I saw him pick him to win the division. Anyway.
I trust you.
I think it'll be a very competitive division, but I don't think any team will have a great record. I have the Buffalo Bills winning it at 8-8.
I do too.
Nice.
4-2 in the division.
I have them 5-1 in the division. Josh Allen, they traded for
J-Man Allen.
Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen's one of the worst quarterbacks in football, throwing the ball more than 15 yards down the field. He has a cannon. He has no.
I was going to say they say he has the most arm strength in the NFL, but
his accuracy is worse than any other.
He can throw and run pretty well.
He runs really well. Love their running back Devin Singletary. They don't have Frank Gore to hold him back anymore. As I said, trade for Stephon Diggs.
Where's he at?
Brown. Frank Gore is with his boy Adam Gase there in the Jets, I believe.
No.
Who you have finishing second?
New England Patriots.
I have the Miami Dolphins finishing second at 7-9.
That's the record I have the Patriots at.
I think Dolphins are very capable of going 7-9. Ryan Fitzpatrick was named the starter this year. For week 1, I think we'll see Tua by about week 6. They have a pretty tough schedule to start. Very, very young team. Fitzpatrick, I believe, is their only guy over 30.
Wow.
I just saw this. Dolphins have 1 player over 30 and 24 players under 25.
Yeah, that's
very
that's
young
a
team.
good and bad thing.
Yeah.
So that should be good for the future, but it's going to have growing pains too.
Yeah, Tua, I guess, has been really good in practice and stuff, but not being even a year from a severe hip injury. They did release Josh Rosen, so they don't have that security blanket to fall back on just
Practice squad at Tampa Bay, Josh Rosen ended up on. Practice squad.
Practice squad. Going from 10th overall pick 2 years ago.
Wow.
To practice squad guy. Yep. But I like the way their defense is looking. I think they made remarkable improvements on the defense. I think they have the best cornerback tandem in the NFL with Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. Safeties are susceptible to the deep ball. I'm struggling talking.
Sorry, you're trying to use your big words.
I know, and it always backfires. But I am going 7-9. I think that's a pretty dang good prediction for them. I don't see them winning more than 7 games.
I got them at 6-10, 1 game behind them.
I kind of view them the way we talked about the Bengals. I think this will be the last time they're under 500 for a while.
I can see that. Young nucleus.
And I'm going to have a lot more fun watching them this year than I did last year because I'm not expecting anything huge, but they're still a young team with a great wide receiver in Devontae Parker and another guy on the other side, Preston Williams.
And win a few of those close games or a few games they're not supposed to, they could end up in the playoffs.
Yeah, who knows? They played well down the stretch. That team had no business even winning more than 2 games last year, and they won 5. So, who got finishing third?
I had the Dolphins
at 6-10.
Yeah,
I have the Jets at 6-10, which means I have the New England Patriots dead
I would love to see it, but
at 5-11. Not a fan of Cam Newton.
I forgot he was even their quarterback. That was Stidham.
Yeah, Cam beat him out. It was announced, I think, this week.
Yeah,
last
when
week
they announced that signing, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, they're an interesting team. That's who the Dolphins open up with week 1. They're an interesting team, and they could easily win the division. Easily. Yep. Never going to count out Bill Belichick from doing that.
I got Adam Gase and the Jets at 3-13 in the cellar of the division.
Gase never gets another head coaching job. What do you think?
Yeah, no. He'd be back to being a coordinator somewhere again.
And I don't even know that.
And it's hard telling if he's a great coordinator or if it was just Peyton Manning in that offense. So,
Yep. NFC East.
My least favorite division football.
I hate Washington's division. They're always on Sunday Night Football in Jerry's world. I have this division being real bad outside of the top team. Who do you have winning?
I got 2 good teams and 2 bad teams. I got the Philadelphia Eagles winning at 12-4.
I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning it at 10-6. I don't think Carson Wentz is that great of a quarterback. He's kind of frail.
I think
he lacks
he's better than he really is.
He lacks in the toughness category, much like a guy that I would compare him to, in Andrew Luck. He's 7-20 against teams over 500. He's been hurt a bunch. I think he's a very talented guy, but I ultimately think he wins in the division.
Yeah, I think their team's too talented. I think they got a great head coach. And if he stays healthy, I think they win that division.
Yes.
But I got the Dallas Cowboys at number 2 at 11-5.
I have the Dallas Cowboys finishing second at 6-10.
Ooh, McCarthy. Not a good debut year
I
for
completely
him.
forgot Mike McCarthy was there. They signed Amari Cooper. I think, did they sign him last year to an extension? I'm not sure, but I know they signed him. Dak Prescott still has not gotten a bag. I don't see him getting Deshaun Watson money, though. I don't think he deserves Deshaun Watson
I don't think he
money.
deserves it right now. Maybe if he gets into the playoffs and actually wins a game.
I like Dak and think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's
It's hard
an
to like a
elite
quarterback of
guy.
the Cowboys unless you're
It's
a
hard to
Cowboy
like
fan.
any player with the Cowboys. I hate Ezekiel Elliott. Hate him. But I think they have good defense, and I honestly couldn't believe I had them at 6-10
Still got a good offensive line.
because I think they'll be a lot better than that. But that's where I have them right now.
Yep.
I think it's a coin flip for who finishes 3rd and 4th of this
Yeah,
division.
yep.
Who you have finishing 3rd?
I got the Washington football team.
I have the New York Giants at 4-12.
I got the Washington football team at 3-13.
You have the Giants real bad.
And I don't think they'll be that. I think the Giants will be more of a 5-11, 6-10 team, but I got them at 2-14.
It's so tough being a quarterback in that New York market. If Daniel Jones struggles this year, do they think about
It wouldn't shock
potentially
me,
drafting one early?
They got a new head coach. His name's escaping me right now. Judge.
I almost said Aaron Judge, but it's Joe Judge.
Joe Judge. No head coaching experience. But I think Daniel Jones will have a good year. Him and Saquon. But other than that,
Don't have a whole lot.
No.
Defensively, they're not great.
Nope.
They could, if they were to potentially get a top 3 pick,
Yep.
I see them taking a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Fields type guy or that guy from North Dakota State.
and going back to Washington, I just don't think they have a lot. Dwayne Haskins, if he doesn't have a good year, maybe they look elsewhere. I would love to see Alex Smith get a crack at it.
He did
that would be great.
He did make the
53-man roster. I just don't think they're very good.
An interesting note about
New
this
head coach.
division, Josh McCown became the oldest practice squad player ever.
Yeah.
His job right now is my dream. He gets to live in Texas, doesn't even have to live in
Coaches
Philadelphia.
high school football.
Make $12,000 a week.
He's an emergency quarterback.
And in case one of them gets hurt, he'll be up, but he doesn't have to go to practice.
He knows the
Nothing.
offense.
Yep.
Yeah, it's yeah.
And making $12,000
And that tells me they're a little worried about their quarterback staying healthy.
and I think it's smart to have an emergency guy just in case COVID
Absolutely.
wipes out the whole position
Keep
group.
forgetting that could happen.
I forget what team I was reading about, a college football team. They played with no active tight ends. The offensive linemen had to play
There's a couple teams that have
ends.
had trouble
in college football.
in practicing without position groups for like a week at a time. But
Interesting times.
yep,
Moving on to your division, the AFC West. I think we both agree that Kansas City Chiefs will win this division.
yeah, I got them at 14-2 and not losing a division game.
I have them at 13-3 and going 6-0 in the division as well. I think we both have the same team finishing second, but it'll be interesting to hear what you think their record is.
I hate it already.
Oh boy, it's like 11-5.
No, it's not that good, but I still hate it.
10-6.
Yeah,
10-6.
and I think they're more of an 8-8, 9-7.
I tend to agree with you. I have them at 7-9.
That's what they were last year.
They're an intriguing team with Drew Lock to see if he can replicate what he did in those final 5 games of the season.
I think those Bronco fans will see a lot of good and a lot of bad with Drew Lock this year. He's a gunslinger.
I was just about to say he has a lot. And even the way he looks out there looks a lot like Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Just his body type, everything. Let's hope he cares a little more.
I think he
than all
does. I think he
Jason
does from everything I've seen. But I think they got unbelievable speed. They drafted Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler to
Have
up
a
their
good
speed.
receiving core.
And you were saying like the Dolphins, the Broncos on offense, their oldest guy is Melvin Gordon at the age of 28.
Wow.
So they got a young offense. Defense a little older.
Yeah, they have a good running back tandem, and then you add those 2 wide receivers you took early and pair them with Cortland Sutton.
He was only in his third
and
year.
I think Noah Fant
Like Fanta.
will break out in his second year.
Jake Butt, made the team. He's healthy. He's their backup tight end, so it's actually a pretty cool story after about 100 ACL tears. Mm-hmm. So I do have them second, but like I said, I think 10-6 is their ceiling, and I think their floor is about 6-10, and they could be anywhere in between. So we'll see.
Wholeheartedly agree with you.
I have them 3-3 in the division. By the way,
I have them 4-2 in the division. They're only 2 losses to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the only teams I have them lose to.
I'd take that right now.
Who you got finishing third?
The Las Vegas Raiders.
I, too, have the Las Vegas Raiders.
6-10.
I have them at 5-11, so pretty
close. This is make it or break it for Derek Carr.
Yes. He needs to have a good year. I just am not sold on John Gruden at all, or Mike Mayock, for that matter.
10 years.
$100 million. Yeah. And didn't he get a minority stake in the franchise?
I don't know. They do have a beautiful new stadium. I'll give them that.
It's great. It's awesome looking.
They can't have fans in it.
No.
They're not, at least week 1, they're not having any, or week 2, whatever the home opener is.
I don't think they have enough talent to even compete in this division.
I don't think Jacobs will have a good year like he did last year.
You don't think so? I think Jacobs is a really good running back. Who's Derek Carr going to throw the ball to? They did draft
Hunter Renfrow.
Well, they did draft a guy early.
They got Ruggs.
Henry
Ruggs. Yeah, he's speedster.
And Darren Waller had a good year as tight end last year. But they give up a bunch of points.
Yeah, they're just.
I just don't think they're very good. So we both have the Los Angeles Chargers, not in Carson City anymore. No. They're in Inglewood now. I have them at 5-11.
I do too.
And finishing dead
and I
last.
think their defense will be rock solid. Darwin James injury hurts, but they got Chris Harris Jr. I can't remember. They got King as their other
Desmond
corner.
King.
Because I'd say those corners right up there with Miami corners.
Pretty good. I like their offense as well. Big fan of Austin Eckler. Catches the ball a bunch.
I think he'll be really good this year. Keenan Allen just got contract extension.
Keenan Allen's great. I think
Hunter Henry.
Mike Williams, I think is the name of their receiver. He's good as well.
Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry's there.
How many weeks till Tyrod gets replaced by Justin Herbert?
I'm a fan of Tyrod. Of course, I really only ever watched him when he was ripping up the Dolphins for those years. I think he's a good leader as well, but I'm going to say if they start out like 2-4-ish, I think they'll make the switch. I'm not sure when their bye week is, if it's right around that time. But I think Tyrod's good enough to at least keep them around 500. But I have them 5-11, so I clearly don't think that. Moving on to, in my opinion, the best division in football, the NFC West.
Yeah, last year, if you're a loyal listener or viewer of the Tan J Man Show, last offseason I just praised that the San Francisco 49ers were going to be my bounce-back team from in regards to a team that didn't make the playoffs the year before who were going to. Praised it all year, then I backed off in the preseason, had them going 6-10, then they're Super Bowl runner-up, and maybe should have won the Super Bowl, but I got them winning this division. I think they'll be very good. Don't think they'll be as good as I have them record-wise, 15-1.
Ooh, 15-1.
I do like that team a lot, though.
I have the Seattle Seahawks winning that division at 13-3.
I have 3 teams making the playoffs in this division, by the way.
I have 2, but I have all 4 teams over 500.
I got 3 of them really good and 1 of them really bad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Seattle.
Russell Wilson is my MVP pick this year.
All right.
I think he finally breaks through and wins one. Like Chris Carson, they did re-sign Josh Gordon, but he's extremly unreliable.
We'll see how many weeks that lasts.
Defense is good. Trading for Jamal Adams.
Olsen now.
And they have the corpse of Greg Olsen, who's a really good dude. But I have them finishing first. I have the San Francisco 49ers finishing second. Who you got?
I got the LA Rams second at 11-5.
I have the 49ers at 11-5. I don't think they'll be able to replicate what they did last year. They need a good running game because I'm not sold on Jimmy G. Defense should be great.
Well, we'll see if Mostert can produce because he got the contract now. So we'll see if he can do it.
It seems like every year we see a team have a great defense, and next year they're not nearly as good. So that's why I think I'm seeing them taking a little bit of step back. Do have them in the playoffs, though. Who you have finishing third? The Niners? Or the
Seahawks
the
at 11-5.
I have the Rams at 11-5 finishing third.
Rams are hard to predict.
Yeah, they underachieved last year.
Yep. Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah, that was an ugly Super Bowl at that. I like Jared Goff. I like their weapons they have there.
Good defense.
Good defense as well with Jalen Ramsey for a full season. Aaron Donald, in my opinion, the best football player in the game of football. You said Christian McCaffrey, non-quarterback-wise, but give me Aaron Donald. So I think they have a chance to be really good as well, and even win that division. I think the top 3 teams could win the division easy.
I got the Cardinals at 2-14.
2-14,
but I think they're more of a 4-12 team.
I have them at 9-7. I wholeheartedly agree. I think they're a 9-7. I agree with myself, not with you.
I don't think they have a winning record.
That team should be able to put up some points.
Man. I'm just not a believer in
Kyler Murray. You have Calvin Ridley. You have DeAndre
I did
Hopkins.
forget about that one when I was making the picks. But
nice hands, Larry. Still there.
Yeah. He's old, but he's reliable.
Cliff Kingsbury's never had a good defense. I don't anticipate him to this year, but I think they'll score enough points to win at least 8 games.
Yeah, I still I like the 4-12 or 5-11 better than my 2-14. But hey, the computer said it, so 2-14. Now let's go in the playoffs, and then we got to hurry up and go week 1 predictions, and then we're done.
In the playoffs, I have the 4th-seeded Bills playing the 5th-seeded Indianapolis Colts, and I have the Bills winning that game.
I have the 4th-seeded Bills playing the 5th-seeded Titans, and I'm going to have to pull up who's winning that game. I don't know. Go on to the next matchup when I'm looking that up.
I have the 7th-seeded Steelers.
I have the Titans win that game.
7th-seeded Steelers playing the 2-seeded Chiefs, and I have the Chiefs winning that game.
Great minds think alike. Have that exact same matchup and outcome.
And for our final matchup of the AFC, I have the 3-seeded Texans beating the 6th-seeded Tennessee Titans.
I have the 3-seeded Texans beating the 6th-seeded Denver Broncos.
I have the top 4 seeds in the AFC advancing, but moving on to the NFC real quick. I have the 7-seeded Rams losing to the 2-seeded New Orleans Saints.
I have the 7-seeded Seahawks losing to the 2-seeded Buccaneers.
Then I have the 5th-seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the 4th-seeded Eagles.
I have the 5th-seeded Cowboys losing to the 4th-seeded Packers.
Then I have the 6th-seeded 49ers beating the 3-seeded Minnesota Vikings.
I have the 6th-seeded Rams losing to the 3-seeded Eagles. So I have all home teams winning except the Titans on the road that first week.
Hopefully, it'd be great. Probably unlikely to have full stadiums by the playoffs.
Yeah.
Moving on to the divisional round, I have the number 1-seeded Baltimore Ravens beating the 4th-seeded Buffalo Bills.
I have the number 1-seeded Ravens getting revenge on the 5th-seeded Titans.
That was one of the bigger upsets I can remember.
Titans were the upset team last year. They won New England won, and Baltimore and New England.
I have the 2-seeded Chiefs beating the 3-seeded Texans.
I do too, a rematch from last year.
I have the 5th-seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the 2-seeded New Orleans Saints.
I have the 2-seeded Buccaneers beating the 3-seeded Eagles.
I have the 1-seeded Seattle Seahawks beating the 6th-seeded San Francisco 49ers.
I have the 1-seeded 49ers beating the 4th-seeded Packers.
Now to the AFC Championship. I have the Baltimore Ravens representing the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Great minds think alike. Nice. I got the Ravens over the Chiefs.
I do too. And then I have the 1-seeded Seahawks representing the NFC beating the 5th-seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I have the Buccaneers representing the NFC going on the road and defeating the 49ers.
I have, and this will be the bucket prediction for the season, and you know what? I'm just going to make it my bucket prediction of the week too.
Why not?
The Seattle Seahawks will win the Super Bowl. Rusty Dubs gets his 2nd over the Baltimore Ravens. The J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week is brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering. For life, home, auto, renters, workers' comp, and farm insurance, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. Also, travis.watchering@infb.com.
And I have the Baltimore Ravens bringing home their 2nd Lombardi trophy ever, defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl.
Nice. That is our NFL preview. Can't believe it was already here. I'm going to keep all of these screenshots up so we can go back and see.
I had last year's till last night. I deleted them all. I should have brought them up and we could have laughed. I probably could find them on there. Yeah. But let's hurry up and fly through some picks in week 1 and wrap this thing up. Thursday night, got the Houston Texans at the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, and by the way, starting next week, we're going to do confident points with all of our picks, and we're going to keep track of them all season long. And the winner each week will get to wear a championship belt while making picks. Nice. But we were slackers this week and don't have enough time to go through the.
Give me the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs, 9.5-point favorites. I think the Chiefs win pretty easily.
Think they cover?
Yeah.
We don't have enough time to do that.
Seahawks at Falcons.
Give me the Seahawks.
I'm going to go with the upset. Give me the Falcons. I don't know why. Just
feels good.
Yep. Browns at Ravens.
Give me Ravens.
Give me the Ravens pretty easily in that one. They're 9 points favorites. The Jets at the Bills.
Give me the Bills.
Bills, easy. The Las Vegas Raiders make their debut in their new city at Carolina Panthers.
Give me the Panthers. Look, they start off 1-0.
Give me the Raiders on the road. Bears at Lions.
Give me the Lions. I'm not a big believer in this Bears team.
Give me the Bears. Because I know I didn't pick the Lions because they were 0-6 in the division. That's what I had them for. So give me the Bears, and Mitchell Trubisky gets a win to start the season.
Biscuit.
Colts at Jaguars.
Give me Colts.
Colts pretty easily.
I have Jags winning one game.
Yeah, I don't think the Jaguars are going to be good. We've both been on record saying that. Packers at Vikings.
Give me Vikings. I shouldn't take this many home teams with very little fans there, but I'm doing it anyway.
Give me the Vikings as well. Dolphins at Patriots.
I'll give me New England. I think New England gets it done. If Dolphins win, though, that'll be 2 straight games that they went into New England and won because they finished the season last year doing that.
New England 6.5 point favorites. Give me New England as well. Like you said, I think early on it's going to be a lot of who's more prepared, who's got the coaching, the experience. Give me the Patriots. Eagles at the Washington football team.
Give me the Eagles. I'm going to put them on upset alert, though.
Give me the Eagles pretty easily. Oh, this is a fun one. The Chargers at the Cincinnati Bengals.
I have the Bengals winning 4 games, but I think they start 1-0.
I want to take them, but I'm taking the Chargers.
Those West Coast teams going east.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
This will be a good one. Tampa Bay at New Orleans.
Give me New Orleans. This could honestly be the tiebreaker for who wins that division.
Give me Tampa.
1. I like it.
On the road. Without fans, give me Tampa. That's even a good coaching matchup. Arians against Peyton. Cardinals at 49ers.
Give me 49ers.
Yeah, easy, in my opinion. And your Sunday nighter. We'll do the Monday night picks next week. There's 2 Monday night games, which will be the Steelers at Giants and Titans at Broncos. Those are both next Monday. We'll do those. And then your Sunday night games, the Cowboys at the Rams.
Of course it is. Give me the Rams.
Give me the Rams, too. At home, why not?
I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm just not
so
a fan.
much. Who you have in the BYU versus Navy game tonight?
Go Navy.
Go Navy, I think so.
Navy
as
at
well.
home, ESPN, Herb Streak and Davis in the house.
That's going to be tough stopping the option.
Yeah.
It'll be tough. Ready to hear some Birdie Bogey?
Yep.
I'll have to bring it up here.
I completely forgot. I know it was NBA related.
It is NBA. Oh, it's a real tough one. I don't think you'll get it.
Great.
But since you got the first one, maybe you get a par.
Okay.
With a win tonight, LeBron James, with a win last night. Sorry,
Yes.
that I screenshotted this last night, so it says tonight.
Sure. Last night.
He tied what player for most wins by a player in NBA postseason history?
There's a lot of guys that come to my mind.
Think of guys
Now,
that
yeah.
are not in your mind, because I'm sure this guy's not in your mind.
Robert Horry.
That's a real dang good guess. Derek Fisher.
Oh, see ya.
161.
No, Fisher played on the Lakers. I think he was a Spur for a little bit.
Yeah. He also passed who for second most three-point field goal in the playoff history?
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen. I don't know who's number 1 in that.
Steph already?
He might be.
Reggie, maybe? I doubt it's Reggie.
I doubt it's Reggie.
Pacers did make the playoffs a lot when he was
Yeah,
there.
that's a good point.
So, well, that's going to do it for episode 199 of the Tan and J-Man Show. Of course, next week we got episode 200. We've been looking forward to that one for weeks.
I might do it shirtless as a party.
I'm not going to show up if that happens. So, but follow us on Facebook or give us a like. Give us a like on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Click that subscribe button wherever you get your podcast. And we'll be back same time, 6:30 next week, live on the IC Sports Network. So make sure you download the app if you haven't already. Episode 200. It's crazy to think that that's coming, of the Tan and J-Man Show. Have a great short work week, everybody. Stay safe.